because they had a plan. They had a plan to take over. They had a plan to take over. And in their taking over, would you want to leave any strings unattached? Would you want somebody around that is able to set you out and your government out? The Greeks killed them. But you have the Babylonians, the Persians, and the Greeks. They were all a part of the ancient Egyptian mystery system, meaning that they had students. There were people from these places: Chaldean, Babylon, Persians, Grecians. These people came over into Kemet to learn, not as a whole nation, but individuals came, and once they learned, they left and they taught, and they made orders. Orders meaning school of thought. That's exactly what religion is. Religion is an order. It's an order. Or some people call it a cult. Whatever you want to call it, with the word games of semantics, it's still the same, okay? Now, I know that a lot of people talk about Kemet, aka Egypt, like it's real bad, especially all of you Bible thumpers out there, you Jesus lovers. But I have to ask you a question. Where did Jesus go to school at? When they was looking for Jesus, Mary took him where? She took him to Kemet. She took him to Kemet, Egypt, to learn, to go to school. God, if Jesus was his son, like many people profess that he is, why did he have to go to Egypt to go to school? Why God himself just couldn't imbue him with that? These people all thirsted for fame. And that fame was found in Kemet, because they had the schooling, they had the temples, they had the gold. They taught civilizations from the beginning. And as I stated in a prior video, people from all over the world came where? To get educated. None other than Kemet itself. Aristotle had a library, but all of his libraries was composed of stolen books. Stolen books that he stole from the Alexandria library when Alexander the Great conquered Kemet in 332 BC. And in Alexander conquering, because him and Aristotle were very close. In fact, Aristotle used to tutor him when King Philip was around. King Philip is known as his dad. But according to the legend, King Philip looked into the bedroom one day and saw his wife having sex with a god. And he was like half man and half snake, half serpent. And his mom would always tell him that your dad is a god, you are from a god. And from the legend, Philip peeked into the room, saw it, and went back out. He didn't know what to think. He didn't know what to think or what to do. But anyway, getting back to Aristotle. But he had compiled his library of all of stolen books that they got from the Egyptian library. And he is the one who set up his school. He set up his school in Alexandria after the conquest of Kemet. And believe it or not, Alkebulan, the entire continent, Alkebulan would have continued their greatness in history if it were not for the Greeks. The Greeks hated the Kemetic people. They hated the Kemetic people. In fact, the Kemetic people barred them for centuries. For centuries. They couldn't even get in as a whole. As a whole. And from this library that was composed by Aristotle, just from my standpoint, this is where racism came into play. And it was during this time that Akubalan was considered to be a dark continent. And the reason why it was a dark continent, because the Greeks had took over Kemet for 300 years and ruled it. Could you imagine what have happened in regards to history, their writings, the persecution of people, the livelihood, the transition? I tell you one thing though, if you ever get off into reading history and you're finally able to piece it together, you will find some amazing things and some amazing secrets and some amazing lies. That is a fact that you will find.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.